Welcome to How We Heard It, the podcast about music, pop culture, movies, and more, with your hosts, Wayne Bledsoe and Chuck Campbell.
This is Chuck Campbell with my co-host,
Wayne Bledsoe.
Wayne, today we're just going to cut to the chase here. We're going to talk about acts who we think should be bigger than they are or who are misunderstood. Is that the assignment you understood?
I think the word that you used was underappreciated.
Oh, well, that works too. I think those all go together. We'll just have to bring those together.
We may have two totally different threads going.
All right, we may be just completely disconnected here.
What were those words you used?
Which words? When?
When you started. It wasn't underappreciated.
Did I use words? You started.
I thought it was underrated.
Yeah.
Underrated, okay.
Yeah.
This is John Baker,
yes,
our engineer.
See, I pass along all these messages to you, Wayne, also to John, and John remembers. So.
Yeah, John. Well,
so you can't fight with me here.
My message is, I think it's underappreciated, Chuck.
Well,
but you go ahead. Go on.
I'm not sure what the difference is.
I just got back from camping, and
he just got back from camping,
and I just remembered. We got to do the podcast today. Actually, you sent me a message,
and I've been fretting about it for 4 days.
I've been hiking. So.
Yeah. Well, good. We're loose. All right. Well. I guess that's a self-explanatory topic. There's not a lot to go into here. Just bands or singers that we think, should have been bigger, or maybe they were underappreciated, or they were overlooked, or they were underrated, or all of those words.
Yeah, my first two
is synonymous.
I think my first two fall into the category of underappreciated, but becoming more appreciated as time goes on.
Okay, well, that's not really mine.
Maybe. That's a really long, unwieldy title.
Yeah, I hate that title.
Well, it's not I didn't mean it to be a title. But I'll follow your lead, Chuck.
Oh, my God. Okay, well, you're not ready for this. But so, because I don't really have this prepared on how to speak about this one, but I'm finally going to talk about Kate Bush. We've gone all this time without talking about Kate Bush. And you've made references to her, and, and I just kind of pass it off. And, do you have any questions before we even get started on this?
Well, I think that she's somebody that's gotten a whole lot of appreciation.
Yeah.
People who love her, boy, they don't just like her. They really love her.
It's all caps love.
It's all caps.
Oh, yes, and I am one of those all caps love. I am. And, it's like, I've always wondered how people could, be in a cult.
Yeah.
And then I think about her, and it's like, oh, that's how they could be in a cult. Because literally, if she was passing out Kool-Aid, I'd say, do you have cherry? Because I'm not really that great. Seriously, she's just, when I first listened to her, and, she'd been around a little while, and I was young. I was at that impressionable age where music can make a difference in my life. Mm-hmm. And I literally feel like when I sat down to listen to her and look at what she was saying, I just kind of opened the door in my head, and she just sauntered in and made herself at home. And she feels different than any other artist because she feels like someone in my family. Wow. Or, it's just like a really, and I don't question what she does. It's like thousands of artists that I've reviewed and thought, they should have done this and they should have done that. And I'm just like, well, Kate's very meticulous and purposeful with what she does. She spends a lot of time putting her songs together, thinking about every lyric, about every noise. So however she ends up is what she intended. Yeah. And it's what she needed. And it's not for me to say. I'm a critic saying it's not for me to say what she should do. So, most of her stuff was already out before I was reviewing. Right. But there were a few albums of her later albums where I reviewed them, and it was just really uncomfortable for me because it's like I just don't see what's wrong.
Well, you lost your objectivity.
Yeah, I have no objectivity with her at all.
That's interesting.
And it's like, do you have anybody like that, or you just accept whatever they do as what it is and what it's supposed to be?
Not since I've been a critic, because
I haven't with other people either.
Well, the interesting thing with Kate Bush, I first heard her when I was about 18, 19.
Okay.
When my friend Daryl played her. And Daryl is a little bit like you. He absolutely loves Kate Bush.
Right.
And, he was just totally into it. And with me, it was like, those high notes are
No.
they're getting,
See, okay. Well, I can.
It was Wuthering Heights.
Yep.
Was the one that I heard first, and I was like, "Oh,
That's-
this
yep.
is." I hate that. I hate that story too.
Well, you hate the book.
Well, yeah, Wuthering Heights. I didn't read the book. I saw the movie, and it let me know I never ever want to read this book.
Okay. Well, she was discovered by David Gilmour of Pink Floyd.
Right.
And Wuthering Heights, she doesn't sing that high on other songs. She purposely goes as high as she can on that song because she's intoning the character Kathy, who's a ghost, roaming the moors and pining away for Heathcliff and all that stuff. So she wanted a voice that would be what her mind sees is a ghost, an apparition. So, but she doesn't, and over time, she has a 4-octave range, which Marianne Faithfull, I believe you like Marianne Faithfull.
I love Marianne Faithfull.
Marianne Faithfull called Kate Bush a national treasure. She's a British singer. So, and she does have a deep range and a high range, and she's just a genius. But unfortunately, so many people, she's been so sparingly exposed in America. It was Wuthering Heights.
Right.
Okay, she was a teenager, right?
She's 18, right? Was
yeah.
she 18 when
yeah,
she
I
recorded
don't,
the
she
first
might have
album?
been 17 when she recorded it,
Yeah.
17, 18, an older teenager, but a
Right.
teenager. And she was that art school teen, she mimed and she did interpretive dance, and her song is about Wuthering Heights, so she
Right.
was working literature into it and had
Right.
all these high aspirations. And, you knew those kind of artsy types in high school. You might have even been one. I don't know. Were you? I definitely wasn't.
I was just one of the weird kids.
Okay, you're just a weird kid who maybe was friends with. You probably had a crush on an art school girl or something like that.
I'm trying to think who.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, I liked the nerdy kids, and I was like the weird kid and not quite the nerdy kid. So.
Okay. Are art school kids nerdy?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, I thought
Art
they were
school
more
kids
geeks.
are nerdy and geeky. Yeah, they're both. They're both. Yeah, but you played me stuff by Kate Bush that I liked. When she's got older, I liked her stuff better.
Yeah, she uses deeper tones and all that stuff.
And I like the themes of her songs better.
Oh, and she's got so many themes. I mean, it's like I can sit here and just go on and on about all the songs over all the years that are just about everything in the world.
Yeah.
She's not just limited to love songs by any stretch of the imagination. But a lot of American exposure to her. She's a little more known in Britain, of course. Right. But there was Wuthering Heights. So you had that high voice, and that was like kind of the first thing anybody heard of her over here.
And then Running Up That Hill.
Well, yeah, actually, I've got it marked down here. That was like Wuthering Heights was 78, and then Running Up That Hill in 85. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know there was that much difference.
Yeah,
between them.
yeah. Oh. Well, that was like, let's see, that's like 5 albums later. Huh. So yeah. So there was a lot of difference. Those are 2 songs over 7 years. Then a couple of years after Running Up That Hill, she was on the Peter Gabriel song "Don't Give Up."
Right.
And she was kind of a backing vocalist, kind of a duet. Well, it's more of a duet. But the cool thing about that one was, they're like hugging each other in this video, and they're on this spinning platform, and there's an eclipse behind them. And whenever it turns around where one of them's singing, they're facing the camera, and the other one is holding them, and they just keep taking turns. And so it's pretty cool. And Peter Gabriel is like this working man trying to, get through life, and she's just telling him, "Don't give up. You're among friends. We don't ask for much," and all that stuff. Then she was on a song called "This Woman's Work" a couple of years later, which is a very soft, sweet ballad, but it's really dark. It's about a woman having trouble in childbirth, and it's from the movie She's Having a Baby. Yeah. And after that, it was Running Up That Hill again a couple of years ago from Stranger Things. And Kate Bush is not a singles artist. So if you're just hearing that one song from her every 2 or 3 years, you've got no content. There's not a typical Kate Bush song. Right. So...
well, I can say that you made me appreciate. I still don't pull out Kate Bush to listen to her, but you played me stuff that I didn't think, well, this is irritating.
Right.
And I liked it. Okay.
I still haven't heard a Rufus Wainwright song that I didn't think was irritating.
Well, Rufus is not one of my favorites. His dad's one of my favorites, and his mom.
I was trying to listen. I thought, okay, Wayne always complains about Kate Bush's high voice. Let me go listen to Rufus Wainwright one more time. And I listened to 3 different songs. I think his voice is high, and it's not even moving around. It's just this flat kind of. How can he love that? So anyway.
Well, I like it. I mean, he's not. I don't love him, but I like him a lot. Okay. I think he's good. Now,
yeah.
Okay, mine, and you know what it's going to be, and they have through the last 10 years, 15 years maybe, finally gotten way more appreciation, but they were never mentioned. It was always the Beatles and the Stones, and the Kinks should be the third band in that triumvirate.
All right.
Because the Kinks, I mean, they start off with a blast of hard rock that has not been heard before, with a distorted guitar solo from Dave Davies on "You Really Got Me," and then "All the Day and All the Night," and it basically is the inspiration for punk rock and heavy metal. Okay. That's where you go back to both of those.
Okay.
So you've got all that great rock and roll from the first little era, and then you get into this extremely thoughtful era after that, where they release the preservation or Village Green Preservation Society,
Arthur,
and then one of my favorite albums of all time, Lola versus the Power Man and the Money Girl. Thank you, John.
Well, I'm a huge Kinks fan, myself, as you know.
Yes.
I'll see myself out the door.
But the Kinks, and then after that, they go back to kind of this arena rock sound and come back with Destroyer and the whole era when they're on Arista Records. And their biggest hit actually just went out of my head. The biggest hit from the
from Destroyer?
80s, "Come Dancin'."
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
Yeah.
You like that one?
I like them all.
Out in the window, I could see them.
Yeah. It was, and that goes back to...
Wow. I thought that was going to be the Wuthering Heights, because that's how I first knew the Kinks was that song, and I was like, oh, that's odd.
It's definitely not one of their best songs, but it was a big hit, and it was good for them.
Almost every one of their records, including the later ones, especially the later ones, because the mid-period with Village Green and Arthur and Something Else and all of that, those albums front to back are great.
Yeah.
But the later Arista ones, when they kind of get into the arena rock thing, even those, there's at least 1 or 2 really great Ray Davis songs on there.
Well, see, I think all the stuff on Arista is pretty great all through. It's not until after that their last few albums are not very good. There's always 1 or 2 songs on them, but the influence of the Kinks you cannot express enough how great it's been on rock music and music in general.
So how are they underappreciated? Just because they're not in the same breath as
nobody
Beatles?
knows who they are.
Well, people. I mean, I think people know who they are, but they don't get listed as in the greats of the British invasion. They should be right after. It should be the Beatles, the Stones, and the Kinks. And so much of the time,
they had contract problems too, though. They couldn't tour in the United States.
Well, they couldn't tour in the United States because they pissed off the union when they came over the first time and got into trouble. So they couldn't perform live in the United States because the union kept them out, the musicians' union. Because I can't remember what it was they did, but they did something. I mean, they were always fighting. You know, they were fighting among each other.
They sort of set the paradigm for brothers who fight.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Oasis, Gallagher.
Oasis,
yes. Yeah, they and the Everly Brothers both.
Yeah.
But the Kinks are like, the Kinks drummer, Mick Avery, thought he had killed Dave Davies, the guitar player, one night because he took his hi-hat and bashed Dave over the head with it because he was so mad at him, and then ran out of the hall during a concert because he thought he'd killed him.
Wow.
I mean, that's the way they were.
Right.
And I think the thing that takes a while to get from Ray Davis is his sense of irony.
Yeah.
He writes about something and you think, well, he's just singing about something. But if you pay attention, he's kind of making fun of something. He takes on the persona of something.
Yeah.
There's a great song. It's one of my favorite Kinks songs on the Destroyer album. It's called Art Lover.
Yeah.
When he's singing from the perspective of a dirty old man sitting in a park looking at the little girls.
Oh boy.
And it's just a beautiful song.
Well, and that's one of the things he's looking at that from the perspective, but this guy is not like going to harm anybody.
He's not a pervert.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that he was best at, is writing about these characters who you see maybe every day, but you don't really appreciate who they are. And he was kind of getting inside that. I mean, and then there's a whole era of rock operas, which a lot of people hate and I think are terrific.
Well, that brings me back to Kate Bush, the thing I didn't get out.
Okay.
Just, so Running Up That Hill generated a lot of Gen Z interest in
Right.
her. And I've seen like reaction videos and them trying to figure her out and all of this stuff. The Running Up That Hill album is called Hounds of Love. And the flip side of that album is called The Ninth Wave. And it's like a concept piece. And it's an event. And she, in it, her character is alone at sea in a shipwreck. And she's going under the water and she's dying and she can't, be saved. And so she's in and out of this limbo of death. And the songs everyone is different, but I don't know how. But so she's out there clinging for her life, and then she slips away, and she's dreaming about being under ice, and she can't get out of the water, and she can't get out from under the ice. And then she hears all the voices of family and friends telling her to wake up, just like different types of voices trying to wake her up. And then she's like at a witch trial, being persecuted as a witch, and she begs to get her life back. But I won't ruin where it goes into a really cold and dark place. But there's a song called "Watching You Without Me," and it's where she is a ghost, and she goes home and realizes that her loved ones can't see her or hear her, or and there's just this emptiness, and it's a cold and dark kind of song. And I used to listen to The Ninth Wave way back, at a pivotal time in my life. I would just lie on the floor of my living room and stare at the ceiling and just listen to it and just imagine what's going on and how poetic it is and how it addresses life and life after death. And her songs kind of parallel dreams and nightmares that I have of death, of darkness and coldness and not being able to communicate. And I don't know, it just really hit home with me. And I just think no one's gotten in my head like that over something, like major like that to me. So, whoops, and now I'm going to knock the table around. But that was, I was watching a Gen Z kid react, and he listened to the first side of the album, which had Running Up That Hill and some other songs, and he liked those, and he flipped it over, and he's just like, wow, maybe I need to see the lyrics on this, because there's a song, there's like a jig and reel, and then there's like songs with like backward words and all this stuff going on, and she's kind of like got this subliminal voice that's almost inaudible when she's the ghost in the house. And then I was watching a music composer, classical music composer, watch it, and he was like analyzing the first thing. He goes, "Oh, this is very pretty. She's going back and forth between minor and major chords." And then, she just kept going and everything. And he just like sits there for like a minute and just goes, "Shit." It's like, not so anyway.
Well, I have not watched any reaction videos to the Kinks, but now I'm going to. And
yeah,
I'll
you
listen to
should.
that too.
Yeah.
Well, to me, I mean, and you talk about how, emotionally, it's like with the Kinks, the song Waterloo Sunset has like helped me through a lot of times just because it's so beautiful, and it's a song about sort of being content with being alone and being, just watching what's going on outside the window. Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's one of the most beautiful songs ever written or recorded. Yeah. I think it's great. Yeah. And there's tons of songs. It's, Better Things off of one of their Arista albums. And it's like, it's one of the things with Ray Davies, he always wants to put the last song to kind of like, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right.
Right.
And that's one of those songs that's been covered by quite a few people now. But
well, that's the feeling that the Kate Bush, The Ninth Wave, leaves you with. It's like, this is, you may feel helpless and you may feel in limbo and you may want to stop this and everything.
Right.
But you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a, life after death kind of proposition. So, and when something can hit you like that, I mean, you're not going to sit down there and say, well, the guitar could have gone on. It's like, you can't write that.
Well,
you can't,
Well, see, unlike you, Chuck, I had to. I mean, the Kinks are I always say they're my favorite band.
Right.
But I've had to give them bad reviews. Those last few. I mean, their last album, name slipped out. Well, they actually, To the Bone, I guess, is their last album, which is a combination of live and studio stuff, and it's really good. But there were some albums on MCA Records.
Music Cemetery of America.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was, and they were just awful. I mean, you got one or two songs that are okay, and the rest are like, yeah.
Any chance you heard Ray Davis's solo record Americana?
Yeah, I've got that one.
It's the Jayhawks backing him up.
Yeah, and they get it.
Yeah,
but it's. I mean, I like and they're good songs and I like it, but it's still not the Kinks.
It's not the Kinks.
Okay,
you got to have
interesting. Yeah,
you got to have.
It would just be to me, it'd be inappropriate to even think of Kate Bush that way.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. And it's like I say, I understand where Taylor Swift's Swifties come from and Beyonce's Beehive, or just people who love their football team.
Yeah.
Or remember the woman we worked with who thought everyone born in North Carolina was naturally better than anyone who wasn't born in North Carolina. And just that, or even if you're challenging someone about their religion or their politics, and they just like have this, oh, I'm sorry, that's not up for negotiation. I've got a wall here, And that's how it's.
Well, I mean, you're lucky. Not everybody has an artist that they find
I
that
agree.
really touches them deep.
Yeah, I agree. So, anyway,
well. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. And, I mean, I just recommend the Kinks to everybody. I'm glad I got an ally here with John.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever forced you to listen to the Kinks. You forced me to listen to Kate Bush, but I can't remember if I...
Yeah.
Did I?
Yeah. I know more than Come Dancing now.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean...
they're fine. I mean, I don't have any objections to them,
Well, anybody who's...
And that's the thing. It's like, you can't... When you connect so deeply to someone and you can't explain it to someone else and they don't. Like, there was a friend of mine on Facebook when they re-released Running Up That Hill, and he hated it. Yeah. And he said, that's not even a song. I was like, what do you mean it's not even a song? It's like trying to degrade it in the worst way.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I mean, I didn't challenge him on it or anything like that, but I haven't looked at him the same since then. It's like, I mean, just such a beyond insult.
Well, I guess we can't be friends.
Yeah. Block. Delete. Block.
Well,
that was another episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure there are people that I'm friends with who don't like the Kinks, but they dare not tell me.
Right. Well,
they're not a band that you just hear once and immediately flip over.
Well, but they're also a band that, I mean, kind of like what you're saying about Kate Bush, you can't hear one song and get everything that's there, because there's
They recorded for so long and they had such a varied career that...
And every 3 years...
You don't just take a song and say, here's a typical Kinks song, because there's not one.
Right. And every 3 years, they're going to sound very different that they sounded before that.
Yeah.
And,
same thing.
And, I mean, I recommended a friend... Somebody was saying, who's somebody, during the pandemic, somebody said, who should I go through their entire catalog? And I said, go through the Kinks' catalog. And that person was just like, wow. I can't believe how different this is.
They may not connect to it. It's almost like I almost don't want to recommend her, because it's like, and then they don't like it. And it's like, let's not talk anymore,
Well, I've got
have you had that occasion where someone you respect and like and everything, and you push the Kinks on them and they didn't really like it?
I can't think of any time that I've done that. I mean, generally, what I would do is push a song on somebody.
Right.
And, if I played somebody Waterloo Sunset, I've never heard anybody who just thought, that's not much.
Right.
Because it's just gorgeous.
Right.
And that's the one I would push at folks most of the time.
Right.
Because to me, it's like one of the most perfect songs ever.
Right. Well, Kate Bush taught me the meaning of life and death and the hereafter. So,
well, I don't know that the Kinks did that to me, but I'll tell you, I will say it was one of the biggest thrills. When you're a critic and you're interviewing people, you're so scared of interviewing the people that you love the most.
Oh yeah. I would never want to talk to Kate Bush.
And I went to Atlanta to see Ray Davies' solo show.
Yeah.
And set up an interview for him afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And his publicist came out and said, well, he's pretty tired tonight. Maybe we'll just, we just do it tomorrow. I said, well, I got to drive back tonight. I got to go. Right. I got to be at work tomorrow. And Ray was kind of listening, and Ray said, oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I talked to him in Atlanta.
Well, how'd that go? I mean,
it was great. It was terrific. I felt a little bit like Chris Farley interviewing, Paul McCartney.
Remember when you were
that time? Yeah.
That's so awesome.
But no, and I got some great quotes from him. He was really nice. And one of the things about the Kinks, and one of the things I ask is during the punk era, all the big dinosaur bands, the Beatles and the Stones and Pink Floyd and all these other people, the punks were just like, oh, to hell with those guys.
Right.
But they didn't do that with the Kinks.
Right. They remained cool.
And I said, why did you guys not get discarded the way they did? And he goes, because we could out-punk any of them. And he's right. I mean, and I interviewed Ray another time, and I interviewed Dave 2 times. And they thankfully were terrific. They were just as nice as they could be, and no disappointments.
Do you remember when Ray Davies came to do, and that was back when people were doing like storyteller tours?
Well, I saw it in Atlanta, and then I didn't get to write the story then, and then I found out he was coming back to Knoxville, so I talked to him again when he played the Tennessee. The Atlanta show was better because he edited it for the Tennessee show.
Well, I just remember it was a very inspirational moment for me at the Tennessee Theater Show when he said, to all of you out there that are songwriters and artists, your job is to document what you see around you.
Right.
Don't try and write about things you don't know about. Write about the things you know about, because and that's what the Kinks do. Their stuff is so particular to their existence. And it's so very British, which I think is one of the reasons why it was a little harder sell in America, because they're very British.
But they got to be more popular in America than they did in Britain at the end.
Yeah, that's because they were playing big arena rock stuff.
And it was kicking ass.
Yeah.
Well, I've got my next one is in the same vein.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and get that one out of the way.
Okay.
Because my next one is Jeff Beck.
Okay.
Because, this is one of the times I interviewed him, I said, because it was frustrating to me, I said, when people talk about the guitar gods of the 60s, it always goes Hendrix, Clapton, Jimmy Page. And I said, why do you think that your name doesn't automatically go on that list? Because to me, it's Hendrix and Jeff Beck and everybody else.
Yep.
Because Jeff, whereas like Clapton and Page, they found their little niche and they stayed with it and they just tried to perfect that little niche. Beck he never stopped growing. Every time he released an album, it was going to be different. He was going to be incorporating new technology, and it was terrific. But what he said was, he said I was putting gas in my car one time, and I had the radio up, and exactly that happened. He said, here are the guitar gods from the 60s. And he said, they said Hendrix, Clapton, Jimmy Page. He said, and then I thought, well, where am I? I ought to be in there somewhere. But it's the truth. I mean, and when you talk to guitar players, and John's a guitar player, he can affirm this.
I've never seen technique like his.
Yeah. And even Clapton now will say he was way better than Clapton was. And, I mean, if you go through Beck's catalog, it's kind of like the Kinks. Every few years, it's going to sound different. But
when was his range? I mean, when was this?
He starts with the Yardbirds, with Clapton. And Page.
In the 60s.
Yeah.
60s, okay.
Yeah, Clapton left, Beck comes in, and then Jimmy Page comes in after that.
Okay.
So he was, 3 of the guitar greats started in the Yardbirds. And then Jeff Beck goes solo, and then he has the Jeff Beck group, which has Rod Stewart and Ronnie Wood both in that. And then he gets with George Martin in the mid-'70s and releases Blow by Blow and Wired, which are kind of jazz influenced. And it's like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then when you get to the millennium, he starts playing with samples and all sorts of stuff. His album Jeff is incredible, and is using all new techniques and new technology. He was like one of the first guys to discover Imogen Heap. And
really?
And had Imogen Heap playing on. She does
There's
Rolling
a name
and
I
Tumbling.
know.
Yeah, she does a song Rolling and Tumbling. But what? Well, you'll appreciate this. When I interviewed Imogen, she said he came up to her at a party and asked if she would be interested in singing one of his songs, and she said, I had no idea who he was. She said, I had heard the name, but I really didn't know. And then she, of course, found out.
Right.
But, but to me, I mean, Jeff Beck, he should be mentioned before anybody but Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
And just, I mean, up until when he died, he was doing new stuff. He was terrific, sounding great.
Why do you think he didn't get his recognition?
I think because he wasn't predictable.
Yeah.
I think that has a lot to do
All
with it.
of his albums are so different.
Yeah, and he also worked mostly instrumental. And
he changed his band a lot.
Yeah. But
Which made me think, before I really knew him or heard any testimonials of other musicians who played with him, I thought, man, he must be kind of an asshole.
Well,
because he can't keep a band.
Well, and we talked about that when I interviewed him, and he did have kind of a bad reputation, but I think it was just because early on he was unpredictable. He didn't always show up for what he was supposed to show up for, but he straightened up, and then he became I think the most reliable guy out there. So, but I think that all had something to do with it. But I mean, he had a little a resurgence with Blow by Blow and Wired. But it was just, for music nerds and cultists.
Right.
But he was always doing more interesting stuff than everybody else, other than Jimi Hendrix. And Hendrix, died in, 1970.
Right.
So.
Right.
He's been decomposing ever since.
Oh, please don't. John.
Sorry.
John. Gosh.
Too soon.
But.
It's been 30-something years.
30, it was 50 or...
I can't do math.
But anyway, when Jeff died, I think that was the year before last, I think.
Yeah.
A wave of appreciation started up, and people are appreciating him more, but he still needs to be right up there, on the Mount Rushmore of the greatest guitarists of all time.
Go look up Jeff Beck and band live at Ronnie Scott's.
Yeah.
It's a club in England. It's on YouTube, and it's an amazing concert.
Yeah. Man, he's tremendous. I think you'd like him, Chuck. I mean, I think you'd like the stuff he did where he was incorporating the samples and the scratching and everything, because he just never got complacent.
Right. Yeah, I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate people who mix it up, and that's kind of everyone on my list is sort of mixes things up a lot.
Yeah.
And what you were saying, about writing from what you know, that's coming up on, not my next one, but the third one I have, that is a reason I think they should be recognized. But what I want to go to next, and this isn't someone I think should be the ultimate whatever, but I thought they were going to be really big because they emerged in the 90s during that kind of world music meditative stuff, and that was a Dead Can Dance.
Right.
And this was after Enigma and Deep Forest and Anya were all having hits. And then they started emerging. And it's an Australian duo. Well, it was an Australian 5-piece or whatever, but there's a core duo who they were a couple at one point. Lisa Gerrard, who is an Australian, and Brendan Perry, who's from England. Mm-hmm. They were based in Melbourne. I think one of the things that got in their way was their name, and people thought they were either gothic or dance, and they're not either one of those things,
No.
So people would mislabel them. They would end up in the wrong bins, and so someone looking for a dance album would get in and just what is this, and they do have a lot of variety in their music and they've been called everything like dark wave and folk and world music and art rock and just everything. And it varies from song to song. They have really sweeping kind of grandeur in their songs. Both of them are fantastic singers. Thing about Lisa Gerrard, she sings in this language called, what is it called? It's where she makes up her own words. Idioglossia. So it's her own language, and she sings, and it just sounds like some kind of language. You're not sure what it is, but it's amazing how moving it can be to hear a language that's not even real words.
It's the power of music.
Yeah. And her voice is just, it's she is a contralto, and she just has this beautiful range. But I mean, his voice is great too. I mean, he can really like wail, and he used to be in punk bands.
Does he sing in the same language?
No, he usually sings in English. Sometimes she sings in English, but there's a couple of songs. It's like, are they both singing in an actual foreign language here, or is she purveyed upon, or can force it? Like there's a song called, I think it's Ariadne. No. It's Amelia. Okay, so what I'm going to recommend here are 3 songs from the 90s. 1993's Into the Labyrinth.
Yeah.
1994's Toward the Within, which was a live album. And 1996's Spirit Chaser. They were hitting their stride with those albums. The Into the Labyrinth. I don't know what to say, Labyrinth. Maybe they would say that in Australia. I don't know, you know. But the Ariadne is this real spellbinding song, which it's beautiful. It just comes out in the most beautiful like instrumentation, and they have dulcimers, and I mean everything that's an instrument they play, and it includes some synths. You know, so sorry, Wayne, but you know it's all integrated. It's all very beautiful. It's very classical-esque in a way, you know, and then her voice comes out or his voice comes out, and then they sing tandem on that Amelia. Both of those 2 songs are from Into the Labyrinth. What? I just hate that word. I mean, that's why they failed. They named their album a word that I can't pronounce.
There's a movie called that too, Chuck.
Yes, and the album Toward the Within, the highlight song on that is Sanvion. And that one, I mean, literally, she can bring tears to your eyes, like in the first, 10 seconds of the song.
Well, back when those were coming out, you would make me listen to them, and I liked them. I thought they were good.
Oh yeah. And then Spirit Chaser, there's a real kind of like a sexy song that they do together, of all things, but they sing back and forth, and he's, I think that's the song where he's also singing in her language, or maybe it's I don't know, Hungarian or something. But anyway. Then that song's called The Snake in the Moon. So I would just go those 3 core albums from 93 to 96 because they were really hitting their stride. It was coming up on the wave of all the other acts I just mentioned. But then they broke up. And that will kill a band more than anything.
Oh, yeah, they'll kill a band.
They were working on their follow-up to Spirit Chaser, and they broke up, and they tried to go on with it, and they couldn't, and so they split it. They got back together like 7 years later, and they did a tour, and then I think they broke up again. And then in 2012, they've done solo work, which is very valuable both of them have done great solo work and everything. But they were something. I thought they were coming in on a great style of music that was hitting the mainstream against all odds, and they were leading the way, and they were hitting stride, and then they broke up, and then that genre kind of got swept away. So,
but I agree with you. It did seem like there was kind of a wave coming on, and then it just disappeared.
And they were and it just did. It just it was a lot of genres come and they stay and they mutate, and that one just kind of came out and disappeared. Which is kind of appropriate, for a genre like that to kind of like appear out of the mist and then, disappear over the waterfall or something. So.
Well, you're going to be really surprised with my next one.
Okay.
Courtney Love and Hole.
Okay.
Because I think she got such a bad reputation because she's nuts. She's
definitely nuts.
Never doesn't seem like she's kind of crazy. But the album lived through this. I listened to it every bit as much as I listened to Nevermind. Yeah. Came out at the same time.
Oh, more. Yeah, I listened to it more than Nevermind.
And when you want somebody just to scream and you want to scream with them, there is nothing like that album.
Yeah.
I mean, when Courtney Love screams out the F word, you are like, yeah.
I like it when she goes, I made my bed, I'll lie in it. I made my bed, I'll die in it. Just all this defiance and anger and just like, she's great.
And that's the thing is like she has, because everybody sees her as a personality. Yeah. They didn't pay attention to how great that album was.
I know.
And I mean, the next album was pretty good too, but album.
That was Billy Corgan. I mean, the Live Through This was Kurt Cobain.
Right. And she's very influenced, obviously, by who's producing and who she's with everything.
It still wouldn't be what it was without her, though.
No.
They didn't just like create the whole thing for her. I mean, she brought her personality to it.
Yeah, and when you get to that last song, and she goes, "Well, I went to school in Olympia," and then it's like
everyone's the same.
All hell breaks loose, and it's just
so are you.
It's so cathartic to listen to it, and I mean, I've pulled into parking lots with that cranked up, screaming the F word with her. It's like, you wonder what people are thinking.
Doll parts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And just so many, just so, A-level frustration and venting but thought out, it's not just, an excuse to throw language around.
No. I mean, it sounds very sincere, and she is talking about her life and talking about the stuff she's been through in these, and it is every bit as powerful as Nevermind.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's one of those whole albums. You want from
whole.
First song, whole with a W albums. For a whole.
Yeah, but I think you and I both put that as one of our top albums of the year when it came out.
Yeah,
but
I completely missed that album.
You Live Through This by Hole.
You'd love it.
She's like the homecoming queen on the cover.
Yeah,
which is
it's a real picture.
I guess I was just influenced by the wave of, oh God, she can't sing, she's horrible. She's, I am willing to. I have an open mind.
That was some straight up sexism, right?
It was.
It was like Kurt Cobain saved the world, and I mean, he's got this little skank girlfriend, And it's like, wow, you.
And I'm not disparaging Nirvana at all. Nirvana is a pivotal. I mean, the music and Nevermind in particular is just amazing.
Yeah.
But I think Live Through This is as good as Nevermind is.
I never put Nevermind up on the pedestal that everybody else does.
Well, the thing with when that album first came in, I remember when it came in.
No doubt that it changed the face of popular music, but and it's a great record, but I don't think it's anything world changing.
I think it's pretty world changing. When that came out, I remember I put it on. It was like, oh man, I don't feel like being screamed at right now, and I put it away.
Right.
And then I heard "Smells Like Teen Spirit" on the radio. I was like, dang, this is a great song. And it's like, oh, that's that song I put away. Yeah, that album I put away.
Like I said, though, with Hole, it's like every single song on that album lived through this.
Yeah.
And I wasn't the same way with Nirvana. I didn't listen to it from beginning to end. I would listen to designated songs depending on, where my head was.
Well, I think the whole album is. I think they're both beginning to end albums that are great. Yeah. And I just think that Kurt Cobain got all the credit.
Yeah.
And Courtney Love got the credit for being nuts. And it's like, no, she was really, really talented. I haven't kept up with her later music.
Well, I mean, the next one, I don't think the name was
Celebrity Skin.
Celebrity Skin was a song on there too, but maybe it was
that's
an
a album
album
name
as
too.
well. And Billy Corgan took credit. And it's like, okay, they've had two great albums, and one. The guys, the misogynists, they went and say, okay, well, Kurt Cobain did this and Billy Corgan did that. It's like, well, they had something to work with, and she definitely brought whatever she brought to it. And she is crazy, and I don't know, she kind of went off track, and the other people in her band were scattering off.
And had there was a lot of drug problems. There were a lot of
drug problems, yeah.
Through everything. But it was a good band. And, I mean, if you listen to, if you like Nevermind, listen to Live Through This and compare them.
Yeah.
Because she's great. And, I mean, I don't know that she stayed great. Who knows if Kurt Cobain would have stayed great.
She just kind of, I don't even know if she's still doing music.
I don't either, but
disappeared. I mean, she's more of a celebrity now than a performer.
But to me, we talk about underappreciated and misunderstood. I think that is like the benchmark.
Right.
Because it's like the publicity is like did not match what the actual product was.
Right. Well, you just led me right into my next one,
Good.
Oddly enough, and that's the band Everclear.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
With Art Alexakis as the frontman. He is originally from L.A., and he moved to Portland, and it was during grunge, and so a lot of people kind of labeled Everclear grunge, but they're really just hard rock, okay? But because he was blonde and Kurt Cobain was blonde, people started calling, and Everclear kind of broke after Cobain died. They got kind of knocked down as being a knockoff Nirvana.
And very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And Art Alexakis, what you were saying, John, about writing from your experience. This guy, he is like this lovable loser. I love he's got this weathered kind of sardonic voice, and it's all self-evaluation and mistakes that he's made and just it's wonderful. And they have great hooks. I love the way he sings. I love it. And it's hard rock, but it's not performative or theatrical the way some grunge could be. It's just always here's another rock song, here's another rock song. And I hadn't paid that much attention to Art's life. Uh-huh. Holy cow. So I got this written down because this is like too much. He was abandoned by his father. He was beaten and sexually assaulted by neighbor kids at age 8. Wow. His brother died of a heroin overdose when Art was 12. His own girlfriend died at 15 of a drug overdose or suicide. He attempted suicide off the Santa Monica Pier. Wow. And he was shooting up meth by the time he was 13. Oh, Lord. And he had a coke and heroin overdose at age 22. So this guy's been through it right now. And sadly, now he's going through MS. The last few years he's been struggling with MS. But he did quit the drugs and everything cold turkey in 1989. And he moved from Los Angeles to San Francisco and kind of formed Everclear, I think, when he moved on up to Portland, and he formed Everclear. So people just saw him. They saw the blonde hair. It's like a little trio. And they're like, oh, you're just a Nirvana. Yeah. And that's just such a shallow and wrong, judgment of them. And hold on. I've just got all this not fair, so lived in weathered voice. I had a little rant in my notes, and it's like I can't get that voice.
Well, let me interject.
He's so direct and so personal. Go ahead.
I was just saying, my favorite song by them is Summerland off the album Sparkle and Fade. Okay. And that's another one that you could scream along with, where it's like he's talking, he and his girlfriend or whatever, he's talking to her about, we just need to leave. We need to leave and go to this town called Summerland, because he says, just a name on the map sounds like heaven to me. Yeah. And leave all their friends at the record store and all the losers that we know. Right.
Well, I got some songs. Sparkle and Fade, 1996. That's definitely where I would start doing my Everclear research. And then I would go to So Much for the Afterglow from 97. Yep. They have other songs before and after, but those were their two peak years. And then, of course, he had band problems and record label problems and all the things that creep up. And then, anyway, but yeah, Sparkle of Fate. One of my favorites is Heroin Girl, which was about his girlfriend. And he's just like real direct about it. He talks about, and the police said, just another overdose, just like dismissing, when he's a kid still and his girlfriend's dead. Oh, so I guess she did die of an overdose. I saw something said suicide. I know I saw something. Maybe it was suicide by I don't know. Yeah. Then he had Santa Monica, which of course is about escapism, like you were talking about with Summerland. Just I need to go somewhere where there are palm trees and beach. I just need to get away. And you make me feel like a whore. I mean, it's so great, It's like whenever you talk to me, I always feel nervous and weird. I hate what I see when I see me, and you make me feel like a whore. It just comes up over and over. And like I say, he does it. It's not really self-pitying, right? And it's not. You feel like he can't help it. He's just this loser guy. But I don't know. I mean, it's like he's just like. Always bad luck. Like I say, a lovable loser type. So much for the Afterglow. He has Father of Mine, which he's talking about his father and how, I closed my eyes and you disappeared. And I think he was like, a young boy when his father disappeared. And Art's been married and divorced a few times. No surprise there. He's got a couple of kids of his own. I Will Buy You a New Life. That's where he's trying to get back with his ex by all these things he's claiming, And he says, I know you're with that guy with the athletic thighs and blah, blah, blah. And can I just spend one night? And, it's just sad. It's just like this humbling thing, but it's not really that sad because it's funny, because he's got a self-deprecating sense of humor.
Right.
And that really sells it.
Yeah.
And then he does one called Everything to Everyone, which I really relate to. And it's just everything you do is to be whoever, you're like a mirror, and you try to be whatever you see and whatever you think people want you to be. And he said, you're blind to the fact that the hand you hold is the hand that holds you down. Just like,
that's a good line.
Yeah, a lot of good lines in that one too.
Yeah.
So, anyway, it's very authentic, like you were saying, and it was more authentic than I thought any. And there are a lot of great grunge bands. I'm not just like hanging them out to dry, but nothing hits like Everclear to me, because it's just like.
Yeah, and you're right. They're not really grunge. They're not really in that thing.
They're rock, and every now and then they have like Beach Boy harmonies or something like that, and they're what I like about it is got that Pacific Northwest kind of flavor, but he's from L.A. and it's got that kind of L.A. sort of. It's kind of laid back, It's like.
Well, it's also more mature.
Yeah,
I think than the other bands that were out at the time. I mean, I think he was older when he. Yeah,
he was. He was older. He's probably 5 or 6 years older than Cobain, which was centuries back then.
Yeah,
but and he had another song, My Sexual Life. I can't hide my sexual life, and just like he just like has so much to be embarrassed of, and he's just like grinding on.
And that's one of the things.
That's what life is,
And that was like one of the times I interviewed Lucinda Williams. She was talking about She said, I know I have a good song when I start getting uncomfortable. Yeah. When I start feeling uncomfortable with what I'm singing, I know it's going to be good. Yeah. And that's kind of what that guy does all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. And I think that's
it's all right. It never feels like... Sometimes, you want the variety, you want the change-ups, and you want different music, and you want Kate Bush and her 4 Million Stories, or the Kinks and all their phases. But with him... It's just this consistent, he's a go-to, and he's comfortable, and he's like a pal or something, and you just want to hear him and say, dude, it's, going to be okay. And so, but anyway, somehow whenever people talk about, they were kind of put in the grunge box when they weren't grunge, and now when people talk about grunge music, they don't bring them up because
they're really not.
They weren't really grunge. And it's like, it was kind of, they lost out both ways. They were miscategorized and then dismissed from that category.
But I do think it's like Kate Bush or other people we've talked about. The people who know them, I mean, the people who know Everclear, like, man, they're fans.
Yeah, yeah.
I have one that ties in on a similar note.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite bands. And they're more well known in Canada because they're Canadian.
Okay.
But they're a band called Sloan. And when they were first signed to Geffen Records, it was right about the same time that Nirvana, Nevermind came out.
Right.
And so they tried to market them as Canada's answer to Nirvana.
Why did they do that to people?
So their first album is called Smeared, and it's real heavy and grungy and everything, but that's really not what they're about.
Right.
And it took them a couple of years. They put out a couple of records for Geffen, and they didn't really get much sales because they were forcing them to be what they weren't.
Right.
And so with their last bit of money, they set about recording themselves. They went to a real cheap studio and recorded an album called One Chord to Another. And it's very Beatle-y, very Kinksy. They write just the catchiest pop songs, but they still rock pretty hard too.
Yeah.
That's like Everclear. That's
my wife and I
Sloan.
Sloan.
Okay.
Sloan. Yeah.
Okay.
My wife and I have traveled far and wide to see them. We went to Seattle to see them. We've been to Canada to see them. We've been to Atlanta. Seen them in Nashville.
Were they from Vancouver or something?
They're originally from Nova Scotia.
Oh, that's not grunge land at all.
they live in Toronto.
Okay.
And they're still putting out albums. They put out an album in 22 called Steady, and that's their 13th album. Wow. They didn't put out a single bad album. Every single album is great. I wouldn't tell you to start at one or another, but One Chord to Another is fantastic. What they've been doing the past couple of years is, like, it'll be the 25th anniversary of One Chord to Another. So they'll make this amazing box set with all kinds of, I've got it upstairs.
Right.
And then they'll do a tour, and they'll play One Chord to Another start to finish, take a break, come back, and just play a normal show.
Wow. That's great.
They've got another album called Navy Blues that came out after that. It's fantastic. They really perfected the art of playing a song, and then it just leads right into the next song, right into the next song. There's no gaps,
right?
And they're great at that. And they all write they switch up
that's
instruments.
Good. I like that.
They all write. They all sing. The drummer and the bass player swap places, except that the bass player, or the drummer goes to guitar, and the other one of the guitar players goes to bass.
Right.
But they all write. They all sing. They're on their albums. They're all four always pictured. There's never one that's a leader. It's very democratic.
Right.
Just a fantastic band.
Right.
So check out Sloan.
I definitely want to. I mean, I remember the name,
Yeah, I
but I don't
remember
remember
that
actually
too.
hearing him.
Oh man, you can't go wrong. I envy you the discovery.
Cool. Okay.
Well, that's the thing about miscategorization too, whether it's Sloan or Everclear. And this is something I think that Wayne and I have tried not to do, you know, and how many times we talk about it all the time. Every time a new female singer came out who was a little bit different, it was always, she's the next Kate Bush, she's the next Kate Bush. That just doomed these women, you know.
Well, it's just like the new Dylan, the whole thing. It's like, you know, you can't get up to
he
those
wrote a good
expectations.
song. He reminds me of Bob Dylan, who wrote good songs.
Yeah.
I really hate it when people say, you know, somebody says, "Oh, you need to check out this band. They remind me of this."
Yeah.
I'm like, don't tell me that.
No, because that doesn't do the band or singer any favors either.
I did that last week. I'm sorry.
You did? I don't remember.
I compared somebody to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and Daniel Johnstone. So it was,
well, I don't know who either of those are.
Well,
so. you can do that all day if I don't know who you're talking about.
If you make obscure references, it saves you.
all right. But nobody should ever compare a new artist to like one of the giants.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
Nobody should ever say, you sound like John Prine. You sound like the Beatles. You sound like the Rolling Stones. I mean, you know, Sheryl Crow actually did kind of sound like the Rolling Stones in the riffs that she came up with and stuff. She was like, she was a real Stonesy girl. But
and she would be fine with that. She'd be happy to hear it, you know.
Yeah, but she's not the Rolling Stones. She's Sheryl Crow.
Right.
But you can hear those influences, but she's not the next.
Right. And how many bands sound like the Beatles?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, oh, you had a good melody, you sound like the Beatles.
Well, I mean, in this case of, you know, Oasis was like they were ripping the Beatles off at every turn.
Right.
And, I mean, you know, they were okay. Nothing. They weren't a favorite of mine or anything, but, you know, they listened to a lot of Beatles.
Right. And that's okay. I mean, you know.
That's a good education.
Yeah. A new generation, every generation needs their own Beatles, you know. Can't just keep going back to 60s albums forever.
Are we ready to recommend stuff?
I think we are. I'll recommend first because I had a group that I was going to put in this. I thought they would be bigger, and that's Muse, the English group.
Yeah, I like them.
I love this band, and when they came out, it was like they were first kind of exploded in the aughts. So like 2001, 2003, they were first. And talk about, variety, all kinds of like classic rock and new rock and theatrical rock and funk rock and everything. And I like to think of them as kind of the last great band because I don't know who's coming out anymore like that has any credentials. But I remember being so excited hearing them. And what was it? They had 2006 Black Holes and Revelations.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that had the song Nights of, was it Cydonia? Why? I don't know. Cydonia. Yeah, that's not an A. I thought that didn't sound right. That one is like it's like a sci-fi Western epic kind of Queen song. Great video too. I don't know if you've seen the video.
Great vocalist.
Yeah. He's a fantastic vocalist. Amazing. And then they had a Supermassive Black Hole was on that album, which is the funk rock I was talking about.
Rocks hard.
Yeah, rocks really hard. And Starlight, which was their Hold You in My Arms. It just like, it's like this. Anyway.
Rendered it unrecognizable.
See, yeah, I mean, they probably should thank me for doing such a good version. But the singer,
have to pay royalties.
Oh, the singer has just this beautiful vocal loop toward the end of that song where he's just like, "Hold you in my arms, I only want to hold you in my arms," and it's kind of got this sort of not apocalyptic, but like everything's going away and all he wants, you know. And that was in 2006, again, Black Holes and Revelations. 2009, I don't know if I just wasn't feeling it. I think the writing maybe was not quite as good, but they were still doing well. I think they had a song for the London Olympics. And then over time, I think it's not that they've not been good. I just think that everything has shifted, so rock bands don't fit anywhere very well anymore.
I haven't kept up with them
right
after Black Goals.
Yeah, and it's like
that one I loved and listened to.
That one was and it's like they had a couple before that. When that one came out, it's like, oh, this is it, this is the next big band. This is amazing. And I remember playing it in Atlanta for some reason, just had it full blast and driving through neighborhoods and everything, just like really remarkable. And then it's like, well, they didn't get bad, but I think the environment changed. And I do think the songwriting did kind of start dropping off, but maybe I'm just imagining that. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, Muse, checked out 2006, Black Holes and Revelations.
All right, well, I'm going to recommend a guitar player, Tommy Emmanuel.
Okay.
Tommy is Australian. The people who know him, he is a legend. He is one of the best acoustic guitar players you will ever see. And if you get a chance to see him in concert, that's the way to see him. The best album to start with is called Center Stage, which is a live album. And he is a guy that grew up in a family band traveling across Australia, and I mean across Australia.
Oh, God, through the interior?
Through the interior, and they would play at these camps.
Like 10 people live in a town?
Yeah, they would stop in these towns, and they would play at like mining towns or whatever. And he and his brother and, different family members, they became incredible musicians. And Tommy he came through Knoxville a lot early on. He was a big friend and fan of Chet Atkins. He wrote to Chet Atkins when he was like 10 years old, and Chet wrote him back.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like inspired by him. And you imagine a little kid, you write your idol.
Oh, my God.
Your idol writes you back. Yeah. But anyway, I saw Tommy. Folks convinced me. He was playing these small places coming through Knoxville. And some friends, basically nearly dragged me there. Because I thought, I had one of my kids were little, and I don't have a whole lot of time. And then I went, and it was like one of the few times that my jaw just dropped. Because he did things on the acoustic guitar that I have never heard, and he is so melodic with what he does. He's a good singer, too, but it is just like fireworks in the sky on an acoustic guitar.
Wow.
He finally I remember... I don't know if I remember when you first liked him, but you were crazy about it.
I became evangelistic about it.
Yeah.
Everybody had to hear this guy.
So could he give you grape Kool-Aid or cherry Kool-Aid?
No, and that's the thing. It's like some of his albums they don't catch it. Right. I mean, that's Newgrass Revival was the same way. Their albums are pretty good. Some of them are really good. But you never get what you get on stage.
Did he ever have vocalists?
Well, he sang sometimes, but it was just he didn't sing that much. About a third of what he would play on an album would be vocal.
I think this is an episode for another episode. Are artists that you have to see live to get?
Yeah.
Because I can name 3 or 4.
Oh yeah, but he is to me he is like the pinnacle of that. Okay. If you get the Center Stage album, which is a live album, and I think there's a DVD of it too. And you can get it on. You can get it watching him on DVD or watching the video of it.
So it's Tommy Emmanuel. Spell Emmanuel because some people...
I can't spell it. It's not right.
It's with an E, not an I, right?
Yeah, it's E. E-M-M-A...
N-U-E-L.
N-U-E-L, right.
Or E-A-L? U-A-L?
It's E-L.
E-L.
Yeah, it's E-L. And he used to be a session player, and then he started touring, and he finally got a really significant audience when he did a PBS special. They finally discovered him, said this guy needs to be on PBS or somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they put him on, and he got a lot of followers that way. But you got to see him live. And, he's getting up there. He's not ancient, but he's a lot older than me.
Oh, that's got to be ancient.
Yeah, it's gotta be
I'm
ancient.
thinking ancient.
That's one foot in the grave and the other on a banana peel.
My goodness.
So, if he's playing someplace near you, you need to see him if you've never seen him because he'll blow you away. And the thing about him as a guitar player is, most people just play the strings, and he plays the entire body of the instrument. When he starts, there's a song called Mombasa. That's probably a good place to really start with. He starts out just tapping the guitar and, finding the sounds on the body of it, and then he starts actually playing the notes, and it's phenomenal.
All right.
I mean, it's first time I saw him, seriously, it was nearly like a religious experience. It was just amazing.
All right.
So there you go.
John, can you top that?
No, this is not going to top it, but this is just what I've been obsessed with this week. Back in 2006, back when there was a record store that I used to go to very regularly, and I know, what is that?
I don't know.
And I was friends with the people that worked there, and they got hip on this band called Midlake. And there was an album in 2006 called The Trials of Van Occupanther. And they were like, oh, you need to listen to this. And they said, it kind of reminds me of Fleetwood Mac. And I got it, and it is real kind of low-key, strummy, acoustic-y, but lots of good vocal harmonies. And at first it was kind of, but then slowly over time it really wormed its way into my brain, and I found myself listening to it all the time.
Yeah.
But then that was 2006, and now it's 2024, and I just hadn't heard anything about them. And I was listening to just a radio station on my streaming service, and this kind of proggy, psychedelic kind of thing came on, and I looked to see who it was, and it said it was Midlake. And I thought, I hadn't heard of them in a long time. And they've released 4 or 5 albums since then. It seems like they release a new album about every 6 or 7 years, and the latest one is from 2022, and it's called For the Sake of Bethel Woods. And, and the album before that, from 2013, is called Antiphon, Antiphon, and it's definitely like prog rock.
Right.
But then
you know what? I mean, prog rock. I have negative associations with the term if a group is just prog rock, but a little prog rock. I think everybody I like has some prog rock.
Yeah. And I've had people say, "What is prog rock?" And I'm like, well, I mean, it's short for progressive rock, and I guess it's just a label people made up. But it's really complex music. Usually involves bizarre time signatures and multiple instruments and long solos and math. and I'm against math.
I'm against math. I second that.
But anyway, these guys are not super prog, but they're just really good, atmospheric. The new one, as I said, For the Sake of Bethel Woods. It's from 2022.
Okay.
I've really been enjoying it the past several days, and their whole back catalog. So it's called Midlake.
All right, cool. I'm going to flip over to How We Saw It, our little movie TV recommendations. I'll make this one quick. I'm going to recommend 2017's Rough Night, which I think I've also seen as Girls' Night Out. It's like you're making that puzzle look. It's like a woman's version of The Hangover.
Okay.
And it's Scarlett Johansson. It's like these five women who are old friends, and they fly to Miami, and they have a bachelorette party. And even a guy stripping for them ends up dying. I mean, it's got a lot of Hangover. Yeah, I mean, that happened in Hangover too, right? But Scarlett Johansson, it's got Kate McKinnon from Saturday Night Live. I don't always like her, but she plays this Australian woman who's just crazy weird. I don't even know how to explain her, but like she has like this bizarre wreck on the beach, and they're like, "How are you still alive?" He goes, "I don't know." She goes,
is it a TV show or a movie?
No, it's a movie. It's a comedy, and I saw it in the theaters, and I really liked it, and I'll watch it again. It's like, wow, this was way funnier than I ever realized, because it's just as raw as a Hangover. I mean, it's dirty, and there are drugs and sex and all that stuff, and it's not like a cleaned up ladies version of the Hangover. I mean, it's like the flip side. He was the bachelor's party, and this is the bachelorette's party that goes way out of control. And like I say, it also had Jillian Bell, Ilana Glazer from Broad City. She's in it. She's really good. And Zoe Kravitz, who I was just talking about recently in our Nepo Babies episode.
And when I have COVID, I watch like weird movies. So I'm gonna say 2 movies I'm not gonna recommend. Okay. Antichrist by Lars von Trier.
Okay.
I'd always heard it was a really difficult movie, and it is a really difficult movie. And there were parts where I was like cringing and kind of yelling at the TV, like, I don't want to watch this. It was pretty rough. But if it's on someplace, watch the first 5 minutes because that's beautiful.
Right.
And then there's a part in the middle of it that's nice.
Right.
It's really cool. And then the rest of it, it's an endurance test.
Okay.
And then
I don't need that. I don't need that in my life.
And then I watched Benny's Video by Michael Hankey, who's the same guy who did Funny Games and The White
Video?
Ribbon. What?
What did you say? Video?
No, Benny's Video.
Benny's
Video.
Okay,
And
Benny's.
it's as rough as the reputation for it, about a boy who becomes obsessed with video, and he gets obsessed with a video of a slaughter of a pig, and then decides he wants to kill somebody.
Oh, wow.
And it's a rough video. But then I got to After Sun, which I think came out last year.
Yeah.
And it's a Scottish film about a father and daughter who go on a vacation, and the parents are divorced, and she's spending the summer, and it's like her looking back and trying to make sense of that vacation. And it's really sweet. And I think the point of the movie by the end of it is we never really know our parents.
Right. I saw the trailer of that and read some good reviews, and it was showing here at the Downtown West Theater, and didn't make it, and it was gone. So, but I think it's streaming now.
Yeah, it's streaming. I watched it on Max, I think.
Okay.
What was that again?
It's called After Sun, and it's a Scottish film, and there's not a lot.
Is it a road trip or something? Or
the whole thing takes place, I think it's Spain where they've gone on vacation. I can't remember exactly which country it is, but they're at the beach, and it's obvious he's spending more money than he probably really has, and she's 10 years old, and he's trying to give her a really good vacation. And it's one of those movies where not a lot really happens, but you're enjoying being with these people so much, and there's like little kind of secrets that are going on that you may never really find out what those secrets are. But that's the point of it, is families, parents and children don't always know everything about each other, and there's just more to discover. And there's a flash. The whole thing is really flashing back, because you see her as an adult, and I think she's just trying to make sense of it, and it's a good memory for her. And I think she still is an adult trying to make sense of it, and it's.
I saw great reviews. I think it had a good Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah.
It's like everything about it looked like I want to see this, and then it was, like I say, it got away. But
and I thought the girl, I can't remember the girl's name that is the actress in it, but I thought she did a great job as being a realistic 10-year-old, and I think she's actually 11. I think she has her birthday during the course of the film, but it's one of those things where you believe it. This seems like real life, and I like movies like that. Right. I don't have, you don't have to have car chases and everything else. It's as long as you enjoy being with people.
Could care less about ever seeing a car chase again.
What if you have a lot of car chases in your real life?
I got to tell you real quick.
I've had enough.
When I interviewed Kirsty McCall, I asked her if there was any surprises about America, and she said, "I thought there'd be car chases everywhere."
John, you gotta.
I do. This is my favorite television show of all time. It's from 1999, and it's Freaks and Geeks.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
And
you wrote a song about that.
I did. It's a story. It's set in 1980, and it's a story of an older sister and a younger brother. And the older sister has, prior to her senior year, she was like a mathlete. And so she's super geeky, nerd, smart student. And she just decides she doesn't want to do that anymore. And she finds her dad's army coat and starts wearing that and starts hanging out with the freaks.
Oh, wow.
And it's loaded with stars. The freaks are, it's Linda Cardellini plays Lindsay Weir, who's the main character. And I wrote a song about her because I just fell in love with her. James Franco's in it. Seth Rogen, Jason Segel, Martin Starr, Joe Flaherty, Busy Phillips.
Oh, wow.
It's loaded. And then the younger brother he's the Geeks and Freaks and Geeks. And his stories, it's funny, but it's touching at the same time.
Yeah.
It was on Fox. It was only on for one season. And I think right at the end of, before they filmed their last episode, they found out that they were being canceled. And so the last episode it makes you want to cry.
Oh, wow.
And it's just so good and so funny and touching, and it's just fantastic. So Freaks and Geeks.
All right.
Look it up.
All right.
And if you get out there, was it under your name or is it one of your bands that the song Lindsay Weir?
It's mine.
Okay, yeah. So John T. Baker, look up John T. Baker, the song Lindsay Weir.
Good song.
Excellent. Good idea.
All right. I hope we've given you music and shows to make you cry or whatever.
Our goal, if you're not crying, we hadn't done our job.
If you're not crying, if you take our advice and you're not crying, then, I'm glad you have such a perfect life. Anyway, we'll be back next time. Thank you, everybody.
You've been listening to How We Heard It with Chuck Campbell and Wayne Bledsoe, a podcast about music, art, culture, movies, whatever they want to talk about. How We Heard It was recorded in Knoxville, Tennessee at the Arbor Studio by John Baker. If you believe you've been abducted by aliens during listening to this podcast, we take no responsibility for that. How We Heard It is a Tear Owl production, and if you'd like to reach out to Chuck or Wayne, send an email to howweheardit@gmail.com. Come on back next week and we'll have another show for you.